And now, Gangbusters! Gangbusters, presented in cooperation with police and federal law enforcement departments throughout the United States. The only national program that brings you authentic police case histories.
Welcome to Confidence Theatrics Radio Troupe's production of Gangbusters, the Eddie Dahl Case. As a note of record, this performance was recorded in one take. Actors' parts were randomly selected and then went into recording. Yes, that's right. No rehearsal, no pre-planning on the art of the actors. Sound did plan for the recording. You are watching an unrehearsed recorded radio play, including any bloopers or mishaps that may occur during this recording. Enjoy. And now we present Gangbusters, the Eddie Dahl Case.
Dr. Simon, I understand that tonight's case concerns Eddie Dahl, alias Eddie LaRue, alias Burlington Eddie, alias Edward Foley.
Yes, Colonel Schwartz. The case starts on September 16th, 1930, late at night in the gang's hideout at Lincoln, Nebraska, a barren room in the back part of a dilapidated apartment house. The shades were drawn, the windows sealed. The room was stuffy, blue with smoke. The tenseness was in the air. The gang was waiting nervously.
Down, Buck, and take the load off your feet.
Yeah, you give me the willies walking around.
We may have to bump the two guards off.
Forget it. Wait until Lady Doe gets here. He's got all the lowdown.
I'm glad Dahl has joined up with the gang. He's got a cool head. He's slick. He ain't one of these guys that goes off half-cocked.
This is going to be the smoothest bank job ever pulled in this country. There's Dahl now.
Make sure before you unbolt that door.
Who is it?
A guy. Hi.
Hi, Dahl.
Everybody here?
Yeah. When are we going to crack the job?
We're going to crack it tomorrow, boys. In the morning.
What's the dope?
This is going to be the most perfect bank cracking we've ever pulled in this country. And the biggest. $1 million.
Everything's set.
We're going to rehearse this thing inch by inch right now. I've got every emergency covered.
We've been working on it 3 months.
Buck, you're responsible for the getaway. If anything slips, we'll all get lead poisoning. Give the boys the setup.
Here's the map of our getaway. The car will do 70. You guys jumps in. We heads north, take a turn onto Elm Street. They're working on the road, so only one car can pass. I'm giving a taxi cab driver $100. After we pass, he starts to drive through, stalls his car. So nobody chasing us will be stuck. So anybody chasing us will be stuck.
Does he know what we're up to?
Of course not. I told him it was a wedding party trying to get away. Keeps going. On the state highway over the railroad track, we turns off the highway here and heads for the hangout. I've drove that route 3 times a day for the past 2 weeks. I could drive it blindfolded.
How about license plates?
I got that fixed too. While we're driving, we can drop off the license plates and swing new ones on. Okay, Dahl?
All right. Now, for weeks, I've had all you guys going in the bank, having money changed. I hauled a vault today. Got a good look through the cellar. Here's a picture of the inside of the bank. There'll be 4 guns in the bank. One in this drawer here, one in that drawer there. And the 2 guards are always standing right here in front of this cage. Frank?
Yeah.
You stands right next to the guard. And Tim stands to the right of the other one.
Okay.
At the signal, you crack them guards, snatch their guns. I'll get 2 guns from the drawers. 10 seconds later, Sweeney comes in the bank with the machine gun. He covers the customers.
Yeah, okay.
We touch nothing in the bank but money. We leave no fingerprints. Remember that.
Suppose the 2 guards put up a fight.
Frank and Tim bumps them off. Now, let's study the layout. We'll spend the rest of the night memorizing every detail.
Good morning, Mr. Smith. I'd like to cash this check.
Certainly, Mr. Brown.
Stick 'em up. This is a holdup. Number 3, keep 'em covered with that machine gun. If anybody makes a move, now the whole bunch down.
Right.
Number 1, scoop up all the loose cash in those laundry bags. Hey, you bank guy, come here. Come with me and swing back the door of that vault.
Yes, sir.
Swing it back. One false move and you'll get lead poisoning. Scoop up all those banknotes in the bag.
There's a lot of loose money in those drawers, boss.
Take your time, pal. This ain't no peanut robbery. Keep cool. Use your heads. This is going to be $1 million haul. Lug the full bags of money as far as the front door.
There's a crowd collecting at the front of the bank.
Let them collect. We're collecting in here.
We got everything, boss.
You guys carry those bags. Don't one of you people take one step to follow us or we'll shoot holes in you. Come on. Number 3, you stand at the door with the machine gun. As soon as we're all in the car, we'll give you the signal.
Check.
Come on. Throw the bags of money in the back. Sound the signal. Everybody in? Here comes the rest of the gang. Step on it, Buck.
As I recall, Dr. Simon, that $1 million robbery was the biggest bank robbery ever staged in this country. Please tell our Palmolive Shave Cream listeners what happened next.
Well, at the time, Colonel, bank robbery was not under the jurisdiction of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. But the Lincoln, Nebraska authorities asked the FBI to furnish them with what information it could. On September 19, 1930, Inspector Haynes of the Federal Bureau of Investigation was in his private office in Washington. And I want you to see how a large organization operates in gathering complete information about a criminal.
You sent for me, Inspector Haynes.
Dennison, this bank robbery in Lincoln, Nebraska is the cleanest bank job ever done in this country.
There isn't a clue?
Not one, but we've got to find one. Now, I've got here a complete report of how the robbery was executed. I want to check the modus operandi of this gang.
Every musician has a definite individual musical touch. Every painter his own style. Every criminal has his own individual approach to a crime.
Yes, Dennison. Now, we know there are some dozen gangs of bank robbers in the Middle West. We know some recent gangs have been broken up.
Oh, you mean this robbery may have been committed by a leader who had his schooling from some gang that's already been caught?
That's it. And if we can find a Middle Western gang which operates similar to the procedure used in this robbery, it'll be a nail to hang our hat on. Yes?
Mr. Frank is here, Inspector.
Send him in at once.
Yes, sir.
Now, I've asked several of the men to get reports on some of these Midwestern gangs, Dennison.
Frank reporting, Inspector.
You get a report on that Salta gang?
Yes, sir. They pulled 4 bank robberies. In each case, they shot the guards. And in each case, they were careless about fingerprints. And they didn't bother to take along loose silver.
Yes?
Obrien is waiting, Inspector.
Tell him to come in.
Yes, sir.
That's all, Frank.
Yes, sir.
Dennison, the Salter gang had no part in this bank robbery. This gang we're looking for scooped up the loose silver, and they left no fingerprints.
And the leader of the gang we're chasing had brains.
Obrien reporting, sir.
What about that Hoosier gang, Obrien?
There are 6 robberies laid to them, Inspector. In all 6 cases, they entered the bank, bound their prisoners, took all money, including loose silver. Only in 1 case was there a shooting of a guard. The gang wore gloves in all cases, and only in 1 instance did they desert their car.
Thanks, Obrien. Smith waiting outside?
Yes, sir.
Ask him to come in.
Yes, sir.
Dennison, this gang sounds more like the one we're after. They're not shooting guards, agrees. Not deserting their car, agrees. Taking all the loose silver, agrees.
But the tying up of all those in the banks?
That's where the Hoosier method differs from the gang that pulled this job. Hello, Smith.
I got reports on the Five Finger Mob and the Yates gang.
Let's have them.
Well, 3 bank robberies during the past year have been laid to the Five Finger Mob, and in every case, they've been scared off.
Isn't that the gang that always leaves a girl in the car out front as the blind?
Yes, sir.
No, it's just a rattle-brained mob. There was a super thinking mind in back of this Lincoln, Nebraska job. What about the Yates gang?
Broken up about 2 years ago. 3 of them caught, 1 shot. Yates and 2 others escaped. Nothing's been laid to this gang during the past 2 years.
What was their procedure?
I have it here. They entered the bank, made a thorough sweep of money, held employees at machine gun point. In 4 cases, they got reserved money from the vaults, had a car waiting to make escape, and in no case did they ever desert the car.
Thanks, Smith. That's all.
Yes, sir.
Inspector, that's the same modus operandi used in the Lincoln, Nebraska robbery.
Yes, Dennison. This report here says that back in February, our St. Louis field office was notified that a sheriff in Macomb, Illinois, picked up an Edward Dahl for stealing a car. Dahl was arrested, placed under a $3,500 bail. He skipped bail. The car thief doesn't usually have $3,500 to put up as bail or to throw away by not appearing. What's up? Fingerprint department?
Yes, sir.
Look up the record of Edward Dahl. See who he's been connected with in the past.
Yes, sir.
Are you figuring that Dahl may have joined up with the Yates gang?
Let's think now. The Yates gang always makes a thorough cleaning of the bank. That tallies. They don't tie the customers and employees. That tallies.
And their general plan of procedure was similar to the procedure just used in this bank robbery.
All right. Now, Yates and 2 of his pals are still at large. Edward Dahl skipped his bail 4 months ago. It's taken several months to plan this bank robbery. Why do all these facts fit together so perfectly? Haynes speaking.
Report on Edward Dahl, arrested several times on minor offenses, known to be exceptionally clever. It is possible that he is one of the leaders reorganizing a Western Bank robbery gang. That's all.
Okay.
So Dahl does know Yates.
Of course, some of this is hypothetical, but Dahl may have learned his bank robbing from Yates and now is even more clever. See the picture of Dahl, his history, and all these facts are sent to the Nebraska authorities. It may be a good lead.
Number of months went by, Colonel. Dahl completely disappeared. Then suddenly...
Kidnapping. South Bend, Indiana. Kidnapping corresponds to the description of Edward Dahl, recently distributed by the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Local bank in Tupelo, Mississippi, just robbed by a machine gun Kelly. Description of his companion fits Edward Dahl. Wanted. All information on Machine Gun Kelly and Edward Dahl.
Attention, attention. United States mail robbery at Effingham, Illinois. Believed leader of gang was Edward Dahl.
Well, Colonel, orders came in from headquarters to the G-men to redouble their efforts to get Edward Dahl. Inspector Haynes again called Dennison into his office in Washington.
Dennison, all we know up to now is that Edward Dahl is somewhere in this country. We've got to find him. I've just received some additional information.
Something I haven't heard?
Yes, reports from all over the country. Dahl's weakness is pretty girls. He's been known to visit Alice Kahn of New Orleans, Mildred Barling of San Francisco, Lucy Weber of Denver, Joan English of St. Louis. There's a long list of them here, sir. Inspector Haynes.
Report on Dahl, sir. Used to pal around with Catherine and Machine Gun Kelly. We have his fingerprints, specimens of his handwriting, and a good picture of him.
Send it all in immediately.
Yes, sir.
Well, Dennison, we're not very far ahead.
Wait, Inspector. Here's information I've dug up. Dahl is fond of motion pictures, especially gangster pictures. And get this, he has tattoo marks on both his right and left forearms. A heart and an anchor and figure of a girl on his right forearm, a cowgirl and pierced heart on his left forearm. And he's quoted as having said that eventually he's going to retire as a chicken farmer.
Well, now we're getting somewhere.
A man at one of our Western field offices have just been in the jail and talked with Machine Gun Kelly. They didn't let Kelly know they wanted information on Dahl, but they asked a lot of questions about other things, and Kelly intimated that about 9 months ago, Dahl married a girl by the name of Janet Gallatin in New York.
Thanks, Smith.
Dahl's already married, Inspector.
That wouldn't stop him from marrying again. Hey, that's the best tip we've had yet.
It's going to be a big job to examine all the marriage licenses in New York. They probably got married under fictitious names, too.
Let's see. Dahl meets a girl. He wants to marry her. Is he going to let her know who he really is? If she were the type of girl he could take in as one of the gang, he wouldn't care if she knew his identity, right, Dennison?
Yes.
But if Dahl doesn't want her to suspect anything, then he can't ask her to sign a fictitious name to the marriage license. He changed his name, but that marriage license is going to contain her real name. We've got to find a license made out to Janet Gallatin.
Dr. Simon, I know the most interesting part of the case will be the police search for Janet Gallatin. Dr. Simon, you were telling us that Inspector Haynes and Dennison went to New York to check the marriage license records.
Yes, Colonel Schwartz, for over a month. Inspector Haynes and Dennison worked in the Marriage Bureau of New York, carefully going over every marriage license. It was a tedious job. Then, late one afternoon.
What is it, Inspector Haynes?
This is worth our weeks of tiresome checking, Dennison. The marriage license made out to Miss Janet Gabrielle Gallatin and Mr. Leonard E. Foley.
Janet and Gallatin are fairly common names.
Married to Leonard E. Foley. Give me that sample of Dahl's handwriting.
Oh, sure, here it is.
Let's see. Leonard E. Foley, Edward Dahl. Those two E's are written exactly the same way.
Yes, the ends on those two D's are the same too. Oh, and notice the R's?
Dennison, it's our first clue.
Foley gives his address there as the Nemo Hotel, Dallas, Texas. Oh, that's probably fictitious.
But Janet Gallatin gives her address as Danville, Vermont. That's probably correct. Come on, Dennison, we're going to Danville, Vermont.
But why come to the post office, Inspector? Let's go up to her home.
No, this is safer.
Why?
Janet Gallatin doesn't know she's married to a man like Dahl, does she?
No.
If she doesn't know, her parents don't know. It's natural for parents to communicate with their daughter. If they don't realize there's any need for secrecy, the most natural communications would be through the mails.
I get you.
The safest way to close down on a criminal is not to let anybody in the world know you're looking for him. Come on, in the post office. How do you do?
How do you do, sir?
I'd like 5 3-cent stamps.
Yes, sir.
Say, by the way, would you direct me to the home of Janet Gallatin?
Yes, sir. You turn right a mile up the road, a greenhouse on the right-hand side.
Thanks. Thought I'd drop in and surprise her.
She's not at home now, you know.
Oh, doesn't she live here anymore?
Hasn't for a year. Married now. Married some out-of-town fella.
I'm awfully disappointed. Say, I guess I'll drop her a postal card from here, though. You don't happen to know her address offhand, do you?
Yes. Her folks sent her a package yesterday and insured it. Let's see. The slip. Here it is. The package was sent to Mrs. Janet G. Foley, Box 270A, Route number 2, St. Petersburg, Florida.
Thanks. I'll drop her a card.
That was a clever piece of work, Dr. Simon. Please tell our Palmolive Shave Cream audience how Inspector Haynes followed it up.
Well, Colonel, 4 days later, Inspector Haynes and Special Agent Dennison arrived in St. Petersburg and talked with the local post office officials.
But I tell you, there must be a Leonard E. Foley listed somewhere in St. Petersburg.
No Leonard E. Foley in the city directory.
Is the postman who delivers over route number 2 around?
He may be in the other room. I'll see.
What do you think, Dennison?
Funny there isn't a Leonard Foley in the directory.
Mr. Jenkins was just going out delivering mail. He was at rural route number 2. These two gentlemen are federal officers, so answer anything they ask you.
Yes, sir.
We have the address of a Leonard E. Foley, Box 270A, Route number 2. You know anything about him?
Why, about 2 weeks ago, he wrote out an order that all mail addressed to Foley should be delivered. Wait a minute, I've got that here in my book.
Good. Did he write the instructions himself?
Yes, sir.
Dennison, let me have that sample of Doll's handwriting.
Just a minute.
Here's the note he wrote out. Says to deliver any mail addressed to Janet or Leonard Foley to 5190 38th Avenue North.
Hey, let me see that paper. Dennison, you notice this E? See this R?
That's his handwriting.
He and his wife have a house out there.
Yes, sir. Farm about 35 acres. They raise chickens.
And when was the last time you saw him?
He probably came out to the post box about 2 days ago.
Thank you, gentlemen, very much. Come on, Dennison. We'll go out and see this Mr. Foley. That looks like the house, Dennison. Ahead on the right.
Think there'll be a shooting, Inspector?
There will be if he can get his hands on his gun, but first we got to make sure he's the right man.
Remember the tattoos. He should have a heart and anchor and a girl tattooed on his right forearm.
Yeah, but on his forearm. If we try to force him to roll up his sleeves, there may be a shooting.
That would be a sure way to identify him, though. There's a man around the back of the house.
Change your gun into your outside pocket.
Right.
Hello there. Mind if we come out back and see ya?
Come on.
We're interested in buying some chickens.
You ain't farmers.
No, we just moved to St. Petersburg. Thought we might arrange to get fresh chickens from you.
I ain't selling any. Wait a minute till I close the gate. All the chickens will be out.
Think it's Doll? He's about the right size. Heavier, though.
Gotta get a look at his forearm.
What'd you two fellas stop for, anyhow?
Well, I told you, we'd like to have you kill us a fresh chicken every Sunday. You got a nice place here. This big hogshead makes a good watering trough.
Yeah, it's always full of water, too. This hose runs from that spring over there and keeps the hoghead full.
Hey, look here, Bill. Lean over and look in it. Isn't that water clean?
Mighty clear.
Oh, I dropped my watch in the water. You got your coat off, sir. Would you roll up your sleeves and get it out of the water before it gets in the works?
All right, wait a minute. There.
Oh, thanks. That was awfully careless of me.
Got a tattoo mark on your arm, haven't?
Hey, it must have been a sailor.
No, I did it for the fun of it.
Oh, Dennison's real into tattoos. Let's see.
Sure.
That's beautiful work.
You fellas think
Best
this
I've
is
ever
good?
seen.
You fellas think this is good? Wait till you see my other arm.
Oh, you got another tattoo.
Look at this.
A cowgirl and a pierced heart.
Hey, hold your arms set together so I can compare the two designs.
Sure. What do y'all think of them? Hey, what's the idea? Take these handcuffs off me.
Edward Dahl, you're wanted for the $1 million bank robbery in Lincoln, Nebraska, the South Bank kidnapping, and too many other crimes to mention.
So, you know me. How'd you find me? I didn't make one false move.
That's one of the things that helped us find you, Dahl.
And that, Colonel, was the end of Eddie Dahl, mastermind of the biggest bank robbery ever committed in this country. Dahl was sentenced to a long term in a federal penitentiary.
And thank you, Dr. Carlton Simon, for telling us this gripping case. You and I know that no matter how cunning a criminal may be, no matter how cleverly he may cover his tracks, sooner or later, he is bound to be uncovered and suffer the full penalty of the law. Tonight's case has brought out vividly our oft-repeated statement, the criminal cannot win.
Thank you for watching Gangbusters, the Eddie Dahl case presented by the Confidence Theater Theatrics Troupe. We hope you enjoyed. Your cast is Simon, Stu Fischer, Dennison, Colleen Robinson Miller, Haynes, Erin Klarner, Eddie, Dahl, Laura Adams, Rogers, Filter 2, Post Officer, Justin McCright, Tim, Filter 3, Marie Andrews, Buck Obrien, Cheryl Bolt, Man, Bank Guy, Postman 2, Peyton Avery, Filter 1, Maria Getahun, Colonel, Teller, and Smith, Jeffery Schwartz, and I am Tillmon Figs, your announcer, Frank Postmaster. Thank you for watching.